Hey guys, what's up? So, I just want to jump in here today and share a few thoughts. Um, Yesterday, I said that I was going to go on a tour, like a tour in Accra, Ghana, of about the slave trade thing. That didn't happen. I went on a different type of tour. I'll talk about it later. I'm still processing information. It was a lot, but it was more about the history and how Ghana got its independence. And it was really a neat tour. So I want to give it its due by writing some things down and sharing some thoughts about it. So I haven't done that yet. So I wanted to talk today about some other things. So there's two things that I had in mind that I wanted to speak about, and one has to do with Spirit Airlines, right? So a few days ago, I was looking online, looking at the news, and I heard about Spirit Airlines. Now, Spirit Airlines has been in trouble financially for a while. That's not new. But what was new was basically that immediately it was shutting down. It was shutting down. I won't go into it, but it was just shutting down immediately. People were going to be out of jobs. Flights were going to be canceled. The whole shebang. So just imagine that for a moment. So as I read about that, the first thing that popped into my mind was that, man, there's an opportunity in that. That's what I thought. I said, there's an opportunity in that. As a business mind, as I'm thinking there's an opportunity. And I'm thinking the black community should get together and buy that airline, right? That's my immediate first thought, right? And then I thought about it and I said, well, who would need to do it, right? Because, well, and who would need to do it, and then immediately my mind starts flooding, and the things that would need to be changed to make it nicer. Okay, but that's going too far. Let's go back. So as I'm thinking about Spirit Airlines, I'm thinking, wow, okay, airlines. Just so you know, if you go on and you try to invest in airlines, it's a very bad idea. Airlines don't make any money for shareholders, just doesn't. But owners, business owners who own the company can make good money, but shareholders don't make any return on airlines. They just don't, because airlines traditionally need a lot of maintenance. Planes need maintenance. There's a lot of fees and government fees and all kind of stuff that they have to do to get to arrange these flights and get the flights going. Now, but that cuts into my next topic about Spirit Airlines. That's already done. When you buy an airline that's already up and running, it's plug and play. Change the management, change the infrastructure, change who the CEO, CFO, all the business people are. Change the accounting. Uh, Change everything you need to change about it. But the licensing is already there, and that's half the battle. Half the battle is getting government licensing to have an airline. First off, once you kind of cross that hurdle, then the rest is money and maintenance and management. And here's the deal: we know how to manage a business. Okay. Now I'm thinking about the black community. We know how to manage a business. So for us, you change the management and you get the thing on and popping. You plug and play. You just go in there and say, hey guys, we have to do things differently, but we've got the infrastructure, or we got the wherewithal to run this shop, keep this thing afloat, save some jobs, as many as possible, and make some money at the same time. So I think it's a win-win for the black community. Now, here's the thing. I want people to understand something. The Supreme Court just took us back to the Jim Crow era. What does that mean? Things are about to change. And ownership is a thing, okay? Always has been. But we've kind of gotten away from it. But we need farms, we need homes, we need communities, okay? We need our own business owners, we need everything, everything, because everything is going to change. The Supreme Court is basically saying that there's no racial discrimination in America. We know that's a lie, okay? And black people are not going to get any type of government financing, not anymore. They're not going to get any government support. Ask the 300,000 black women that they fired this last year, right? So I think there's a train company as well. What I heard somebody else say there's a train company that might be going under, and that's up for grabs. Okay, so what I'm saying is economics doesn't win the war as far as power is concerned, but economics is still important. Okay, economics is still important. So owning Spirit Airline, if a black person owns Spirit Airline, it would be the first black person to own a major commercial airline. And that could open the door for others. But more importantly, just getting the first one done, making the first one possible. Okay. And I went online immediately and said, we need to buy that. And a friend sent me a message that people were already thinking the same thing. We do need to put our money into ownership and not just fancy clothes, fancy shoes, fancy cars, fancy homes. We need to own something if we're going to be in America. I'm not going to be in America. But if you're going to be in America, you need to own something. Okay? That's a given. That's always been the case. That's not new. That's standard. And we got away from that somehow, and we need to get back into that. I've heard of people creating new, black-owned farms and new communities and new towns. And people have asked me in the past, do you believe in segregation or do you believe in integration? Doesn't matter what I believe, whichever one it works. The one I'm looking at doesn't work. So try them both. Hell, why not? Have your own town, have your own everything, and see how it works. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. If a black person in America creates a town with just black people living in it, white people will come. I don't know why that is. They follow us to the end of the earth. I can't explain it. I'm not a white person. White people are going to follow black people anywhere they go. It doesn't matter. You can't get rid of them. I've tried. I'm in Africa. They're still here. They're going to follow you wherever you go. Even if you don't want them around, they're going to be around. Okay? So, but I want people to understand this situation with Spirit Airlines, as horrible as it may seem, there's opportunity in it. And we should capitalize on it as a people, as a community. Now, if you're watching this YouTube channel and you're thinking, wow, man, that guy's really biased. He's only talking about the black community. You might be right, because I'm only speaking to the black community right now. I'm only speaking to the black community. Other people will watch, but I'm speaking to my community because I believe in my community. I want my community. I want my community to elevate, go to the next level. When we do things that are trivial and stupid, I'm going to say they're trivial and stupid. And when we do something good, I'm going to say it's good. Which brings me to my next point. Okay. I've been looking online today and I noticed all these beautiful gowns and all of the beautiful women wearing these gowns to the Met Gala. The Met Gala, sponsored by Jeff Bezos. You know who Jeff Bezos is? Jeff Bezos, the guy who built Amazon, the company Amazon. Nothing wrong with the company, other than he barely pays his people anything. I've worked at the company. I like the company. And the people who work there like the company. The problem is Jeff Bezos and his people, the management team, don't pay their people anything. And that shouldn't be. And so, although he is sponsoring this beautiful gala, why not instead give that money to his employees? And I want the participants to think about that for a second. You're representing this man by wearing these beautiful gowns. And that's what we do. We're black people. We like to show off, right? You're wearing these beautiful gowns and you're dressed to the nines. And hey, can't take anything away from you. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. But why be used in this way when you know other people are suffering, right? This guy owns a company or was part owner in a company that is mistreating people currently, right now. And you're supporting that without even a second thought about it. And that to me is a slap in the face to the community, right? So I want the entertainers and people like that to be more conscientious of what they're doing. Because here's the thing. We know you're rich and famous. Hell, we made you rich and famous. But here's the thing. These next moves are going to affect everybody. They're going to affect from the poorest to the richest. These people are going to tell you who you can vote for. They're going to tell you where you can live. They're going to tell you where you can drink water. They're going to tell you where you can use the toilet. They're going to tell you everything. And it doesn't matter that you're rich, because being rich doesn't mean you're powerful. And powerful people are taking over with their white nationalist agenda. And they're hurting people. And people like Jeff Bezos is hurting people. So I want you to think about that, because, you know, I'm in a good position right now. I can travel all over the world, and I basically have. But not everyone can. And if a person like me use my strength and power to harm someone else, what good is that? Right? So, and I know you want to floss and I know you want to look good. So just do it with somebody else. You don't have to do it with Jeff Bezos. You understand? We can have our own parties. We can have our own red carpets. We don't need his red carpet. Do you understand? So sadly, we always feel like these people make us somebody. They don't make us anybody. We make ourselves. We make ourselves. And that decision to serve their whims and harm somebody else at the same time, that's not good. Let me give you an example of that, for example. The United States of America already had slavery before it became the United States of America, right? So they penned the Constitution for their freedom from Britain. At the same time, they enslaved black people. You see how that works? You see how that works? So Jeff Bezos is giving you a party, and at the same time, he's not paying his employees shit. See how that works? I want people to think about that because when we go through life not thinking about that, you're part of the problem and not part of the solution. You're part of the problem. And yeah, you look good. You look good, but you're not giving a damn about anybody else. You see how that works? Right? So, although we say we love our activists, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Kwame Lumumba, and all of these guys, Lumumba, we say we love our activists, right? We praise them to their face and we stab them in the back. That's what's going on with the Met Gala. And that's the problem. You want to look good, but you're hurting your people. That's a problem.